Welcome to St. Augustine Institute, Ogba. This is an institute for early childhood teachers training, and my name is Bridget Egboko. I'm one of the lecturers. Today's seminar, we're going to be talking about early childhood, the importance of early childhood. And our objective is going to be covering the following. We're going to try and analyze early childhood education. Then we're going to describe what early childhood education is, which we have shortened by representing it as ECCE. We're going to explain reasons for early childhood education, identify why we must train as teachers, state objectives of teaching, list training accomplishments, discuss issues of qualities in teaching, then state the parties involved, examine non-professional perspective, state professional view when it comes to teachers. I hope at the end of this study, we'll be able to understand why we must train as teachers. What is early childhood? Early childhood marks the beginning of the lifelong learning journey we all set out on from the moment we are born. Each road should be different and have exciting experiences. Children expect to come into our classes and have exciting experiences in these classes. So, how would we describe early childhood education? Early childhood care and education was established in Nigeria in 1987. It comprises of learning, development, health, and welfare. It shows an intertwined relationship that can't have one without the other. There is no way a child can learn without growing, and there is no way a child can grow without the proper health and welfare care. A child that lacks proper health and welfare care will find it difficult to develop and will find it difficult to learn. Why do we want our children to experience this early childhood education? There's a reason why the government of Nigeria decided that early childhood education was very important. Some of the reasons are as follows. There was a lack of defined national policy when it comes to early childhood education, and in order to correct this, early childhood education was introduced into the Nigerian curriculum. Most of the schools that do early childhood education are largely private sector driven. And even though this is largely private sector driven, we're still having a problem with government regulating some of these private sectors. As such, we're having schools that are running non-standardized curriculum, and presently you'll find schools that have British American curriculum, Turkish Lebanese curriculum, and all whatnot. But quite recently, the government is coming out with curriculum suited for each schools and practically Nigerian based. We have inadequate monitoring and inspection of these private sector schools, and that's why school fees are on the high side, and some of the schools are not even registered or lack the proper amenities and properly trained teachers. We have low number of qualified teachers. Qualified teachers that are trained specifically to work with children from 0 to 8. This is one of the reasons why the government introduced schools that are under the IEI sector and that are specifically driven to train teachers in the early childhood sector so that they are qualified, not only subject qualified, but to work with children in areas of their physical, emotional, social, and even their language development and their intellectual development. And this is the reason why institutes like St. Augustine Institute was created. Funding from government to some of these private sector schools is non existent. So, why must we train? We as teachers must train to ensure a basic awareness of the latest educational initiatives. We should also know that it is important to know the importance of providing activities that promotes the child's all-round development and learning and be able to observe some of this development to know if they are actually the right ones. Training also helps us to plan activities for these children. It helps us to be prepared for those activities and it helps us to be able to evaluate the outcome of the activity. We must know at this point that learning should be fun for children at this age. So there is no right or wrong answers. There's just that knowledge in knowing that they tried their best and that they enjoyed themselves trying to get it right. What are the objectives of training? There are several objectives of training as a teacher, but some of the key ones we have is the fact that it creates awareness for the educational development of you as a teacher and the development of the children as a whole. The importance of certain personal qualities and values are also enhanced when we come for training. The entitlements and responsibility of a childcare employee is outlined in the course of training. The need for continuing professional development is enhanced when we go for training. It gives us an opportunity to discuss with each other as teachers and also find out what is happening in other areas that we do not know about. There is opportunity for us as teachers to network and be able to trade ideas so that we'll be able to know some of the things that are not happening in our schools that we can bring back and some of the things that we can do better. It creates an opportunity for us to experience equality and respect from diverse areas. The importance of working effectively with parents is emphasized during trainings. We need to know that once we have finished training, there are some accomplishment that goes with training. Training enables us to understand the various practical activities, what it allows the children to do, and the role of the adult in the activity. Display a knowledge of the value of educational activity to child development. It demonstrates a basic understanding of the several stages of an activity and an awareness of how to plan an activity. Have the opportunity to discuss play activity and what part of development each activity promotes. We cannot talk about training as teachers without talking about quality in our schools. Understandably, Morse and Penny in 1994 stated that quality is a relative complex concept and not an objective reality. What I count as quality might be different from what you see as quality. Some definitions of quality reflects the values, beliefs, needs, agendas, influences, and authorities of various decision groups who have an interest in those services. What does that mean to me? And what does that mean to you? It therefore means that if the children in my school, I want them to be able to hold their head up in a British society. Quality to me therefore means that I have to ensure that those children learn according to the British curriculum. How can this influence the training of my staff? It influences the training of my staff because I will therefore try to ensure that my staff are trained to understand the quality that is acceptable within the British society that is different from the Nigerian society. For us to achieve all this, we need to recognize the parties that are involved in the educational sector. One most important party in the educational sector is the children themselves. They are very important. They are the reason why we are doing what we do. They are the reasons why we get up in the morning and go to work, to be able to train them to develop appropriately. Then comes the parents. The parents are the first teachers of these children. As such, it is very important that teachers work together with parents to make the life of the child better. Teachers are the third people that are involved in the educational sectors. Then the school itself, both private and public. Government has a key role to play in ensuring that the schools are safe, properly ventilated, good structure, and properly funded. Then society itself dictates the kind of education our children are going to come out with and be able to practicalize. There are different views when it comes to education. But Carl, in 1993, argues that those who are not professional educators will tend to interpret and evaluate teaching qualities in terms of value that are unconnected with the educational process. From these perspectives, education is seen from a national interest, society's economic needs, or a labor market demand. While a professional view will tell you that every educational program is a complex human system involving many affected individuals and groups. So, there are potentially many qualities, criteria that are closely linked to beliefs about objectives and functions. What do you think? Do you think as teachers we need to educate ourselves? Please let us know in St. Augustine Institute. Thank you.